Hello and welcome to a sunny day here in beautiful Nova Scotia. Welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley, The Optimistic Gardener. If you haven't been to my channel before, welcome. Where have you been? And if you have been to my channel before, thanks for coming back. Well, I say a sunny day in beautiful Nova Scotia with a bit of surprise this year. I know I keep going on about it to you that have been here before, but we're having a bit of an up and down summer here in Nova Scotia. Normally the summers are nice and warm with a bit of rain, but this year's been especially rainy. And the weekend just gone, what was it, 30th of July weekend, we went away for the weekend, and that was a microcosm of what this summer has been like. Driving down, we went to Cape Sable Island, down towards the south of Nova Scotia. Never been there before. On the way down, 2 hours drive, absolutely bucketed it down all the way. Torrential, massive, full whack on the old windscreen wipers weather. Couldn't see all the way down, absolutely knackered by the time I got down there with my eyes squinting and all that sort of stuff. But as soon as we got down there, the sun came out, and as you can see, a beautiful, beautiful part of Nova Scotia. Absolutely stunning beaches. The water was a bit on the old brass monkey side, but my son didn't mind, so he had a good time anyway. And yes, beautiful weather all weekend. And then on the way back, absolutely chucked it down again this weekend. So again, my grasses and everything is flopped down, but all the vegetables seem to be enjoying it, looking luscious and filling up, the tomatoes, etc. But we're not here to talk about that sort of stuff. Excuse my excursion down to my holiday and vacation talking. We're here to talk about honeysuckle, bush honeysuckle, and a bit of an update. Last year I planted, as you can see from the video, if you haven't seen it before, I planted a hedge, and it was the old bush honeysuckle type hedge, and planted it all in between my neighbours and my sort of vegetable garden here. And as you can see, it's done not too bad. Apart from one bush that I ran over in my tractor, all the other bushes have done really well. And we'll have a little look in a minute. But they've all grown on nicely. And if you remember at the time, I took some cuttings. And as you can see here, they've all done quite well as well. Now it's the start of August, and really and truly I should have planted these bushes up a couple of months ago. Let's have a look at them. I think they're probably a bit pot bound now. Well, not too bad. A nice bit of roots there, but as you can see, it's grown on nicely. It would have grown on a bit better, I think, if I'd have actually planted it up properly in the ground by now, which is what I plan to do. So what I thought I'd do is, because as you can see down the length here, I planted, because I didn't have that many, I planted them a bit far apart really. What I really want to do is plant them every 2 feet. And I haven't got enough now to fill it all out, but I'm going to start to fill in the in bits, the gap bits in between. So I've got six cuttings, took really easy last year when I actually planted things up. So I'm just going to fill in the gaps to make it sort of about 2 foot, and I think in the next couple of years they should grow on nicely. And then I'm also going to quickly, if I can try your patience for a bit longer, I'm going to prune the honeysuckle bushes, because they're growing nicely now, as you can see, but I want to encourage a bit more side shoots, etc., and make them nice and bushy, so next year they'll grow even bushier and more leaders all over the place. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see where we are, but pleased so far, so stay with me. So no next door's dog to wind me up today, hopefully, at least at the moment anyway. So here's one of my cuttings, and as I said, and as you can see, they took really well. And you've already seen me plant these up, so I'm just going to do the one just to sort of reiterate. So nice root ball there, not too root bound, even though I'm going to give it a bit of a scrape at the bottom, just to sort of wound some of the roots, and then that'll stimulate regrowth in there. So just tease them out a little bit, make sure this fits. So I want this to go in the same level as it is at the moment. That's about right. That'll do. Better get some compost. Right, give this a good watering now. So even though, like I said, we've had quite a wet summer so far, and I think we're predicting to be raining again this week, just be keeping an eye on it throughout the next couple of weeks, next month, making sure it's fully damp, the soil at all times, give it a chance to sort of bed itself in. Well, I've got to carry on and do the rest of them, then we'll come back and we'll have a look at pruning the more established bushes. Okay, here we are. These are the more established bushes. Nothing particularly rocket sciencey about this bit. I'm gonna prune. So I've got these smaller ones here. Do I want to prune it that far down? Just about, I think. I want to sort of try and keep a uniform sort of shape. So if I prune, so again, usual prune routine, prune down to 2 leaves to a bud, so that we don't if we prune further up just below 2 leaves, then you've got a load of dead wood and you can get dieback then. So let's prune down to sort of there. That's about sort of uniform there. And if I carry on all the way down the line, we'll have a nice uniform height, and then once they start to close together, I can nice with your hedge trimmer go all the way down. So I'll carry on down the line. Okay, so I've given all the bushes a bit of a prune. So the last thing I want to do while I'm here, might as well do it, is give them a bit of a mulch. Give them a bit of a mulch with some compost off my compost heap, and that'll give them a bit of a feed. It'll also, cut down on the grass, etc., that's growing around it at the moment, and that'll break down and give it a bit of a feed as well. So I'm just going to top dress or mulch around each one of the bushes, and that'll be it. So I want to do, about a foot around each bush. I don't want it right up against the bark, obviously, because that can introduce some sort of rotting of the actual stems themselves. So once I put it there, I'm just going to make sure it's not all the way around, right up close to the bark. There we go, so I'll go all the way down the line again. So there you go, there's the update. New bushes are in. The cuttings that I took from these original bushes, I'm quite pleased with that. 5 new plants for free There's another one somewhere, but I'll have to find it. The old bushes trimmed, nice and uniform, keeping them compact so that next year, or for the rest of the summer, and then next year they'll grow more shoots from the side shoots, etc., and become bushier. And I've given them a bit of a feed with a mulch from my compost heap, which should see them nicely for the rest of the year. Job is definitely good, except I'm going to have to take cuttings next year, and if I don't want to pay for any more bushes, what I'm probably going to do is take some hardwood cuttings, depending how much these the old bushes grow for the rest of the year. I'll take some hardwood cuttings right before the start of spring next year, when they're just about to start budding. I'll take some cuttings then and see if they take, and then also once they start growing properly again next year, I'll take some softwood cuttings like I did in the first place, and they should take no worries anyway. But I'm going to have a go at both. Always good to experiment. Job's definitely a good one.